Om Vasudevasutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness and bestower of immortality. Om Shri Krishnaya Namah. Srimad Bhagavad Gita in chapter 5 is known as Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of renunciation of karma. That's the goal of yoga always. You should not be bonded with karma. You should attain enlightenment. 19th verse. Ihaiva tairjitah sargo yesham samye sthitam manah nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmanite sthita. Even in this very life, the world is conquered by those whose mind is established in samya, equal vision. Brahman is free from doshas, means defects, and is sama Brahman. Sama means absolutely same, equanimity, equality, all that comes under Saumya. Samya. But realize Samya has gone into different stages, different angles. When you practice equanimity, the mind has to attain Shama, serenity. When you develop serenity, it's called Shama. When you free your mind of contradictory thoughts, and it's passive, completely relaxed, that's called Samadhan. And when your vision is no longer intellectual understanding, intuitive vision, then it's called samatha. In your dream, there are so many things in your dream. But your wakeful vision, what does it tell you? It tells you that everything in your dream, from a mosquito to a mountain, everything is yourself. No difference in degrees. The mosquito has very little, nothing in it. And mountain has big. The difference doesn't count. You are as much the little mosquito as you are the big mountain. That's the samatha. And that's profound stage of understanding God. Otherwise, you are running around looking for God. And the world becomes a big distraction. Google begins to tell you all about the resources of taking pilgrimages, plans for pilgrimage. And there are so many. So mind has developed the idea God is more in one place, in Kashi, Banaras, is lesser in another place. In Miami. Your whole focus, me are me. Love myself. I'm giving you a witty meaning. But it's a wrong understanding of Miami. The real meaning of Miami, I am me. I am that. That's what Miami is. Me am I. So no matter where I go, Miami is me am I. This attainment, realization, that Brahman is present everywhere, behind all names and forms. The reality is Brahman alone. And that vision must develop while you are within this life. Which means your movement to yoga or your spiritual practice, don't leave it for after death. The purpose of your life is to be deeply involved. If you want to make your life purposeful, then you must work for attaining that goal within this lifetime. And that's the purpose of life. Another way of understanding, the Upanishad raises a question. Kasminnu bhagavate vijñāte sarvam idam vijñānam bhavati. Question is placed, O Lord, what is that knowing which all is known? You are wandering in your dream, it's a vast universe in your dream. But what is that knowing which all that will be known in one moment? Answer, your waking state. Wake up. Wake up by placing the question, who am I? Kasminnu bhagavate vijñāte. Knowing what? One can know all that is to be known. That what is not outside is your I am, your source of your sense perceptions. Source of sense perception is your mind. Source of your mental movements is your intellect. Source of your intellect, now you are coming to the cosmic level. The ultimate source, that's where your I is. I am. Just like the source of illuminations that a reflected sun is experiencing in a jar of water. Look for the source. That source is the sun. And then another revelation, the reflected sun now has to work upon I am the sun and become realized it is free of the pot, free of the water. No limitation. I am that. Scriptures give another simile. You have different shapes of pots, and the pots have their different stories. Some pots have been in the hands of sages, they're kamandalus. They are placed in puja rooms. And their pots are of different types, with so many stories. What's the reality behind it? Clay. It's a layman's answer, clay. I'm joking. Similarly, the world consists of so many multiplicities, diversities. But all diversities are modifications of Satchidananda. And put it more in a simplified way, Sat, the absolute truth. That absolute truth is like the sun. And so by knowing that sun, you know all reflections. You have to understand it. You don't know it intellectually. You don't have to. When you have known the sun, you don't have to figure out what is happening to a rainbow. Brahman is free from defects. Defects most prominently described as Shadripus, 6 enemies: Kama, perverted desire; Krodha, anger; Lobha, greed; Moha, deluded vision; Mada, conceit. Mind becomes inflated in such a way that can't figure out what's wrong with you. And Matsarya, a constant sense of jealousy by constantly looking at the defects of others. From morning till night people watch and they make their opinion. That person shouldn't have acted that way. That one has done harm, let's see what's happening to him. He must get punished. Punished? Oh, what a wonderful news. I'm joking, but that's the reality of things. So, these 6, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mada, Matsarya, they are impurities. And coming more in a subtler way, what we term as kleshas, afflictions, beginning with ignorance. Staying ignorant, that's the most worst stupidity. But ignorance is behind all the problems, all the troubles, all the miseries, all the sorrows. But I will not go into ignorance too much. Out of ignorance there arises egoism, ahamkar. Not normal ego. Normal ego is perfectly normal. Everyone has to have a sense of identity. This is me, this is my body, and this is what I have to do. But that I in you is an instrument in hands of God. You view that I and yourself in 3 ways. Deha buddhyat dasoham. To the extent your body is your focus, view yourself, I am a slave in a divine way, in the hands of God. And from the point of view of the soul, you are like a ray and God is like the sun. And from the absolute point of view, what's the difference between reflected sun in a jar and the sun? No difference. One alone exists, sun alone exists. So, coming back, ignorance, egoism, called asmita. Raga, attachment to things that you think are giver of happiness. First, your understanding that something gives you happiness. Something may be your relative, your friend, near and dear ones, or whatsoever. Objects that you eat, food can be dear, things you see, good sight that can be dear. A deer can be dear. But whatever gives you a sense of that loving perception, now the mind records it, called raga. The mind has also recorded it and closed its door, implying every time your mind has made a decision that my happiness lies here. Now you are shutting out the possibility of finding happiness elsewhere. Your happiness now has become a prisoner. And then you realize you are more guarding the prisoner, spending the time of protecting things that make you happy. And you have lost real happiness. The raga plays a very tricky part. In scripture, it is described as a demon called Madhu. Looks like honey, but it's all poisonous. And then dvesha. Whenever painful experience develops, mentally you develop a will. May I remain distant from this forever. But then what you don't realize, your mind is full of lies. Same thing that you loved in the morning, by the evening you are tired of it. That you hated, now you are working to get it. I will not go into detail, it's easy to understand. Raga dvesha. These are all vikaras, defects. And led by raga dvesha, you enter into embodiment. That's what the fabric of karma is, raga dvesha. And when you are embodied, you go through changes in your body. They are also vikaras. First stage, you came without name. The parents give you a name, one vikara. Now as you grow, you are just a child. But you can't stay there. You begin to grow up, a growing stage between child and youth. It's another vikara. Then become youthful. But we're not really full. There is more foolery enters. So that's another vikara. Begin to age. That's another vikara. And death. All these are called vikaras. And your goal is to become free of all vikaras. So Brahman is free from all doshas. And therefore Brahman is called Sama Brahman, Sama. which I have explained, shama, samadhan, samata, samya, all are different anonymous words. They are all interrelated words. Important to understand this point, a mature understanding, that God, Brahman, the absolute truth, is all permeating reality. As long as your mind is not enlightened, your mind is always creating a location for Brahman. And you find some places are called holy, some places are unholy. All temples are holy. You go to puja room, now your mind is turning to being holy, sacred. Come out of the puja room and see a vulture. That's an unholy situation. What's the goal? The goal is to realize all that you are experiencing in whatever way. All experiences happen in your consciousness. Can you experience anything without consciousness? First, figure that out. Turn your attention to that consciousness called Chaitanya. That Chaitanya is behind all your experiences. No matter how terrible, no matter how divine, no matter how stupid, no matter how sublime. Awareness, Chaitanya is ever the same. And what is real? That Chaitanya, not all your perceptions. God is therefore, come back to a very simple way to understand. God is all permeating reality. So no matter where you are, relax yourself and offer prayer. Don't say, if I go to the temple, then I will pray. So we are spending more time how to find the temple. But look around yourself, and whatever you are seeing is from the temple of temples, the sky. All the breeze blows, bringing you the message of profound detachment. All the elements are playing their part. Brahman is in your nose. I'm breathing. So that am I. Every part of your own body is a part of the whole universe. Brahman is the reality behind all. But to assimilate that truth requires integral yoga in your life. But that's the goal of all religions of the world. You don't go into a heavenly land and live with all your friends and relatives joyously forever. That's not the picture. The picture is allegorical and for kindergarten mind. So one who has attained enlightenment becomes a established in Brahman. Again, it's an allegorical statement. He realizes, I am Brahman. And what type of Brahman? All that you see, all that you have read from history, all that you can stretch your mind to millions of years in the past and millions of years to come in future. All that is Brahman. And who are you? Aham Brahma. That's the goal of life. And that's to be realized while you are alive. Don't plan it, leave it for after death business. That's the purpose of life. Okay. Now, Mundaka Upanishad says the same point just supporting this view. Yada pashyah pashyate rukma varnam kartaramisham purusham brahma yonim tada vidvana punya pape vidhuya niranjanah paramam samyam upaiti. The meaning is, when this seer means sadhaka who is experiencing the higher level. If you have experienced the highest, you are the seer. Until then, you are blinder. When the seer beholds the golden colored creator, golden colored is an allegorical way of describing self-effulgent, that which shines by its own light. You don't have to bring any light. Even if you have golden jewels in a box, in the darkness of night, you have to bring a torchlight or whatever light, and you have to open the box, and then you have to shed the light, and then you see what you cherish so much. But this, what you cherish most, has its own light. All that you have to do is lift the covering. And that lifting again is a matter of change in your understanding. You don't have to lift with muscle. A misunderstanding that casts great terror is lifted by just turning your mind to understanding. To understand something in the right way, your misunderstanding moves away. You don't see it lying down anywhere. It just doesn't exist. Coming back again, that Brahman, the ultimate truth, is like the sun, pure awareness. Rukma Varanam is like a golden effulgence. Kartar, all this that has creation that you find, he is the cause. Isham, he is the Lord. Purusham, he is the ruler of your city. Your city is your whole body. Body, mind, senses, all together is called Navadvar. Puri. And that which rules over your entire city, mind, intellect, ego, the ruler behind. That's your soul. But if you don't know it, then the soul is called jiva. But jiva has to discover, I am Purusha, I am the ruler of this city. Brahmayonim, another point. The entire world, past, present and future, the entire cosmos. Brahman is the source. Brahman is the womb out of which the entire universe has come. Brahmayonim. And that Brahmayonim is what you are. If you are a seer. The seer realizes, I am that Brahman. Tada vidwan punya pape vidhuya. Having gained this realization, you are called vidwan. You are now the knower. And what's your qualification? Punya pape vidhuya. You have washed away virtue and vice, karma related in existence. You are existing defined by karma. And then you are always described in the terms of virtue, how much virtuous karmas, how much negative karmas, and we are dealing with it. When you realize I am that, you are not confined to a world of karma. You have eternal. World of karma will give you happiness, relative happiness. Nothing eternal. The world of karma will not give you absolute fulfillment. So that point has to be understood. So therefore, the ultimate goal for aspirant is not to depend upon karmas, neither virtue nor vice. Both are like impurities and you wash them away. Punya pape vidhuya. Niranjana now becomes spotless. Description of spotless is the sky. So many things happen in the sky. Sky shelters so many things. But sky remains Niranjan. All the black clouds have thrown out so much blackish things. But look at the sky, spotless. All you have experienced through countless lives, but your essential consciousness, your real nature, Brahman within you, remains absolutely untarnished, untainted. Paramam Samyam, that's the description of Samya. If you are working for it, you are Samya. Samya. You are a lovely personality. Na prahashyet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam. Sthira buddhira sammudho brahmavid brahmani sthitah. The knower of Brahman has a firm intellect. He is free from illusions and is ever established in Brahman. He neither rejoices when he acquires what is desirable, or is he agitated when he encounters that which is undesirable. This is another profound characteristic of enlightenment, that you have to go on working for it. You don't wait that one day I become enlightened, but you have to go on working for it. And try to develop those qualities to the extent you can. That's the message behind it. When the message of perfection of Brahman is given to you, that doesn't mean that you now have to wait for that great chance and opportunity. But the message is, you should start moving toward. You are being informed. You are Brahman. You are being informed. You have a treasure in your house. But take all measures to get your treasure. Start working for it. And each time you seem to be overwhelmed with problems, sing the song, I have the treasure. Beyond measure. Aham Brahmasmi. Now, what's that goal? No matter how positive news has come to you about something wonderful has developed in your money matters, in your relatives and whatever, so many what you consider very positive. No matter how wonderful, your mind accepts it just like the sky accepts wonderful clouds. They come singing, rumbling, and flashing. The sky is either pleased or unpleased. Calm. If you have that calm level of inner awareness of I am, you must realize nothing in the world is going to change your I am. Your I am is not dependent on the world and its happenings. Your I am is the ruler of the world, is the reality behind all. Without this I am, nothing can exist. So with that awareness, how can that I am start dancing because of something has happened? How can sun begin to dance because wonderful rainbows have developed? Figure that out. So, and likewise, when negative things happen, all clouds gather, they are all dark and they are creating ghosts and goblins. Children look at the clouds and they see all types of terrible things. The sky is ever the same. This is brought out in the Ramayana, with Rama himself. Prasannatam yana gatabhishekata tathana mamle banavasa dukkhata mukhambuja shri raghunandanasya me sadastu sa manjul mangala prada. One of the prayers, Prasannatam yana gatabhishekata. He, Lord Rama, when he was informed that he is going to become the monarch of Ayodhya, the ruler, great ruler, he accepted this news without any change in his face. Face remains serene, prasannata. Real happiness doesn't show any teeth. It shows a very graceful face. So Rama remains that serene, shimmering joy with face. When he was told, he was given, instead of dancing and becoming vigorous, I am going to be the king, I will be the greatest king ever. Now see all what is going to happen to those enemies. So instead of doing all that, Rama simply stays serene. But very next day, is told, Kaikeyi has plotted, and he is no longer the king. He is going to be banished for 14 years, not 1 or 2 days. Now, how does Rama face it? Same serene face. That face you should steal from Rama and put it on yourself. And that's the secret of gaining all that is auspicious, mangalam. That face is the giver of auspiciousness, means anything that you touch, anything you experience, it has a purpose, it is enriching you, and you are aware of it. So life becomes a profound movement. And that's the ideal for spiritual aspirants to work for. But any ideal requires facing challenges. Even to gain a good education, you have to face the challenge of examinations, oral questionings and practical questions. All you have to face. So also you have to face your challenge. But if you are a good aspirant, challenges are good news. You are a mountain climber, and someone gives you the idea of a special spot where the climbing is more challenging, but the view you see having climbed is extraordinary. As a climber now, you become more excited about it. I'm giving very broad way to understand. Life is not so simple. But that's what you need to turn that adversity into something that is not taking you away from your purpose of life, but making you more enriched in your spiritual movement. Adversity, prosperity, all leading you towards, under divine hand, everything has its purpose. With this I conclude. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarupur Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Krishnaya Namah. Hari Om.